Welcome to Frame Dropped. Dangerous Driving is a spiritual sequel to the Burnout series, made by a small team from Three Fields Entertainment, a company that consists of former Burnout developers. The gameplay looks cool and full of action, but does the game really live up to its expectations? Let's find out right now. Dangerous Driving, or in Italy where it's just called Driving, is the name of the game here. This is an arcade racing game, where you are rewarded for reckless behavior. Drifting, driving on the wrong side of the road, jumping and taking down other vehicles all grant you a nitro boost, which you can use to, well, get a boost by pressing the X button. The takedowns especially remind of the Burnout series because you also get to see a crash cam after successfully driving an opponent off the road. The sensation of speed is definitely there, and the controls work well enough if you know that this is an arcade driver and really nothing like a driving simulator. But something about the gameplay always feels off. Not only is the game pretty buggy, but other cars don't seem to have the same attributes as you. You are always off to a slow start at the beginning, while all other opponents seem to immediately take off, but after you've accumulated enough boost, it's pretty easy to catch up. Because of this, the AI isn't believable, and you're always being reminded that there are no real humans racing against you. But all in all, the gameplay can get quite enjoyable after a while. Now, Dangerous Driving was made by a team of about 7 people with a small budget. That is an extraordinary accomplishment if you think about how hundreds or even thousands of people work on other games. But sadly, it also shows. What I mean by that is that the game is very bare bones. You select your races through a simple menu and you can unlock a couple of different vehicle classes, including Formula 1 cars, but they all handle very similarly, and after choosing a car you can only press a button to cycle through various paint jobs, but you can't customize the appearance of your car apart from that. And yes, there are a couple of different modes, but all of them either require you to get the first place or to wreck as many vehicles as possible, and everything else is just a different variation of that. One mode, for example, gives you an infinite boost, but you cannot let go of the nitro button. In another mode you have to drive for as long as possible without crashing, but they all really feel the same, and the lack of content is even apparent during the loading screens. However, one of the more exciting modes is Pursuit, where you control a police vehicle and have to take down targets, which have kind of a health bar and therefore need to be hit way more often than once. But if you're on a section that is mostly straight, it's extremely easy to do this, because of the way the AI behaves. The game also doesn't feature a soundtrack, but you can connect your Spotify account and are then able to change the songs with the D-pad while driving. This might not sound like much, but in my opinion that's a really neat addition, and I hope that more games will implement this option in the future. But you can only do that if you have a Spotify Premium account, and if you don't have any soundtrack at all. There's also no 2-player or online mode, although the latter is coming by an update down the road. Now, all the stuff that I've said so far probably sounds like Dangerous Driving is a terrible game. And that's not true, but as of the time being it costs $40, and I have to take that into account while reviewing it. The game doesn't nearly offer enough content to warrant that. I have to say that you also get a copy of Danger Zone 2, which is already out since June of last year. And I've never played the game before, but it runs like a complete pile of shit. The footage you see here is from my PS4 Pro, I shit you not. No idea how something like that is even allowed to be released in that state. So, to say the least, I wouldn't consider Danger Zone 2 an argument in favor of buying the game in any way. So my final thoughts about Dangerous Driving? Wait until it gets cheaper. It's honestly not a terrible game, and after I overcame my initial frustration, the basic gameplay really started to make fun. So I don't regret buying it, but I regret spending $40 on a game with almost no content. And sure, it was made by a small indie team, but that's no excuse for the price. If you happen to watch this review at a later date and Dangerous Driving is now available for $20 or less, then that might be a whole different story. Because once again, the gameplay itself can be really fun if you can look past its flaws. But for now, if you're into these types of games, I would really recommend checking out Burnout Paradise Remastered if you haven't already. It's a way better game with much more content for less money. But what do you guys think? Have you played Dangerous Driving? Were you excited but held off from buying it? Whatever your thoughts about the game may be, tell us in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Until then, see you next time.